Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have the DNF tag. I was tagged by Emily of Novel Novels in revenge for all of the times I have tagged her, and this tag was created by Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, whose videos I am incredibly behind on, and I would apologise, but we all know by now that I am a terrible booktuber. So this is all about DNFing books. And if you didn't know what that means, well, you've not been on this platform long enough. So firstly, do you DNF? Yes, I regularly put down books that I do not like. And this comes from my tutor at uni. The head of my course once said that life's too short to read bad books, and that he was aware that we have a very limited amount of time on this planet. Therefore, he is not going to dedicate that time to reading books he doesn't like. Therefore, he will put them down. So that is something that I have continued throughout my life. Admittedly, this should mean that I DNF all the books I dislike, and there shouldn't be so many books I dislike being mentioned on this channel. But sometimes you just power through so that you can properly talk about how much you despise a book. I'm saying you here, and I mean me. I don't know why I don't just say I, but that's who I am. 2. If you DNF a book, does it count towards books read for the month? No. When I first started writing down all of the books that I read, I would write down the books as I'd started them, and then I would write the end date. But this soon didn't work because there were too many occasions where I was starting a book and not finishing it. So now a book only gets written down in the journal if it's being read, and there are so many books that I have DNF'd that I can't actually remember them, but they would probably fill up several more pages in that journal if I wrote them all down. 3. Is there a difference between DNF and just putting it down for a bit? I would say so. There are books where I have recognised that it isn't the right time for me to be reading them, such as this month when we're all supposed to be reading Shirley for Victober. And I've put that aside because I think I want to dedicate my own time to it, and I don't want to force anything. So I feel like once I've read other things, I can come back to that. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to read a book. One book that I keep doing this with is The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I keep picking that book up, and the most I've ever got into it is 30 pages, and I know that I'm going to love that book. I can feel it in my waters, but for whatever reason, I just haven't been able to knuckle down yet and decide, yes, this is the time. It hasn't captured me in that way, but I know that it will. Similarly, Wolf Hall has done that before. I did that with the 13th Tale as well, in which I kept reading the first few pages and not thinking it would be the book for me. And then one day, it just captured me, and I read it, and I loved it, and I binged through that. And that seems to be the way with Diane Setterfield's books, that I have a few false starts with them, and then I just read through them in one massive splurge. 4. What popular book have you DNF'd? I have DNF'd Nevernight by J. Christoph. I was reading that earlier in the year with Abby of Abby Mac Reads, who was really enjoying the book, and I could not get behind it. And eventually Abby just said to me, do you know what, if you don't want to continue reading this book, just put it down. And I did, and I still offer her the heartiest of apologies, because I feel like my constantly despising that book must have been dragging her down a bit. But I am thrilled that I DNF'd that book, and thrilled that Abby managed to find a book that she loved. 5. What book do you wish you had DNF'd? I will say A Pair of Blue Eyes by Thomas Hardy, because before that, Thomas Hardy had been a writer I held to a bit of esteem because of Far From the Madding Crowd, but A Pair of Blue Eyes, which is supposedly about his wife Emma, is written in such a way that made me question the writer as a person, as well as despising the book with a fiery passion. 6. Do you ever reattempt to read a DNF? Has this ever been successful for you? There are many books that I would DNF when I was at high school because I just couldn't find the time to read them, and I've read them as an adult and found something more in them. Indeed, with Stephen King last year, there have been times when I've tried to read Stephen King as a teenager, but I just wasn't ready to read his works yet. And then as an adult, I realised that this feeling of threat and scare had already diminished and disappeared by the time I was an adult. So yes, it's been successful at times. 7. What do you do with books you DNF? I donate them to the charity shop or give them to my friends or set fire to them. I actually don't set fire to them because it's really difficult for paper to burn. 8. Do you choose more or less risky titles because of your stance on DNFs? No. I read a wide variety of books anyway. I feel like if I stuck to one genre, then there might be more people sticking out, coming around here to see me because they knew what they were getting. But the fact of the matter is that I just have so many wants to just skip around and try different books. Sometimes I'm in a pretentious mood, so I'll read something pretentious, but never Lionel Shriver. Ugh, Lionel Shriver. I don't understand the hype. But for the most part, I've always tried to read from a wide variety of genres, so I don't take more risks. I think I continue to do what I've always done. And then we have 9. Tag 5 BookTube Buddies, or however many people you want. And I don't want to, so I'm not going to. But if you want to talk about DNFing books, feel free. There you go, just tell me what your stance is on DNFing in the comments. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.